gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The biggest names in music.
Oh, wow.
Big names, big songs, big guests, big prizes.
Well, it's a big show. Okay.
The Big Show.
Put your hands together for the one and only
Glenn, Angel, FD, and Sean.
That's what I'm talking about.
1FM 91.3. Good times, greatest hits.
Good morning and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is from the therapy room, the one and only Geraldine Tan. Good morning.
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 And I'm in somber colors. I'm in black.
Oh,
But then
okay.
again, because of what you have around your neck there, you remind me of Cinderella this morning.
It's a little pearl inside. It's a birthday gift from one of my colleagues.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's very pretty.
Aw,
Very pretty.
So nice. Oh, wait. You just celebrated your birthday, is it?
Yes, not too long ago.
Right?
Yes.
A few weeks ago.
A few weeks
Yeah.
ago.
Beginning
Yes.
of
yes.
July, yes.
Beginning of July. Okay.
You
So-
sang the birthday song and then you
Remember?
forgot.
That's right. That's right.
Forgot.
We,
Oh,
we,
cry,
sing,
cry.
we sing everybody a birthday song.
No,
right?
I'll
So-
never forget, Jerry's birthday.
During the
It
first week of
started
July.
already.
So, Dr. Gerry, today you say you're in somber colors. Why is that?
Yes, I think I wanted to pick up on last week's events, because it really just shook Singapore completely. I think it really affected me a lot, and I think you would hear many stories of your friends, how it affected them. I think it struck me very hard. The news came halfway through the day on Monday, and then I had the mother support group in the evening. Yeah, so I was, privileged to go through the mother's journey of losing their sons. So by the end of the day, it was I was completely gone.
So,
Right,
the
I'm
mother
sure.
support group was specifically for those that had lost children?
That's Healing Hearts.
Okay.
It runs every month. It's free. And it's for mothers only who have lost children to suicide.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
for the
okay.
people who don't know what we're talking about, we are talking about the River Valley High incident.
Yeah.
That's what Dr. Gerry is referring to.
Yes, yeah.
It was such an interesting situation. I felt terribly guilty because when I read the report, my one thought was, what has life come to? That children of that age think in such violent terms.
Yeah. I think there's some people who are listening to us and watching us from abroad who may not know the background to the story. Just very quickly,
Brief, yeah.
At River Valley High School here in Singapore, there was an incident in which a 16-year-old boy,
Attacked.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're still saying alleged.
Yeah.
Well, they have to.
Yeah, because it's not proven yet.
Trial's
So,
not over or anything.
allegedly attacked a younger 13-year-old boy
With an axe and
in
took
the
his life.
toilets. Yeah.
And took
Yeah.
his life,
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, that's
just
the
need
brief,
to
yeah.
establish that.
Yeah.
Because there are some people who avoid, the news, and
yeah,
may not
absolutely.
know,
Yeah.
what happened.
I mean, when I first saw it, I was much like FD. I don't think I felt guilt. I felt just very, 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 very affected by it. Like, what would bring someone of that age to do something like that, to anyone?
My guilt was because I didn't feel sorrow. I felt anger. I felt anger that children are open to so much violence today that it has become part of their life. And that's why I felt guilty. I didn't feel it. My initial feeling was not sorrow for the families, sorrow for the poor child that lost his life. It was anger. It was anger at society.
This is interesting, Gerry. Okay, so let us go through our emotions with you. So that's what FD felt. How did you feel, Angel?
I was very sad. I was sad for both families. The boy who lost his life as well as the boy who allegedly took it.
Okay.
What would be going through the minds of both at the moment, and then during the moments that it happened. I can't imagine what it would have been. So I was very sad. I was very sad. I cried when I read I cried everything, but I did cry when I read the article. And as it was unfolding, it was just like, this stuff does not happen in Singapore.
Right. So far, natural feelings, Gerry, from everyone. Sean?
Everyone is normal, yes.
Sean?
Sad also for the victim especially, because I think if I read correctly, he didn't like know the other guy or anything.
Yeah.
He just walked into the restroom and just happened.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
For me, I was shocked actually that a life was taken. Because back when I was in school, when we used to fight in the septic tanks, and we used to fight at Jackie's Bowl in Katong and all that. Sometimes with baseball, one or two will bring parangs and all that. We'll always say, okay, just whack the legs, don't we don't want to kill anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
There was more to hurt.
yes,
Yeah.
and more to scare people off, that kind of thing. We knew where to hit.
Yeah.
But for something like this to happen,
Yeah.
wow, it really blew my mind.
It's an evolution, I think, Gerry. If you listen to what Glenn is saying, right? Glenn was baseball bats and stuff like that. In my day when we fought fisticuffs.
Okay.
Your hands.
Bare hands.
Fist, right, bare hands.
Your bare hands,
yeah.
right? It was fisticuff fighting. It was almost gentlemanly.
Yeah.
There were rules and
Boundaries.
there were boundaries.
It's like you don't bring a gun to a knife
And
fight,
it
right?
just
That's what they say.
seems to be going downhill
Yeah.
and getting worse and worse and worse with each generation, and that is that's what's got me angry. Nothing's being done to stop this slide.
But Gerry, can I just say this? I mean, this particular boy, this 16-year-old boy, has had a history of mental illness, right? Why is it more and more people are coming down with mental illness these days as compared to back in the day?
Okay, so first, boys, can we remember not to fight?
It's a boy thing. It's a boy thing.
I think I don't care whether it's fist fights or baseball bat fights. I think fighting is just not good. Period, right? A little bit of my opinion on the boy, the Sec 4 boy, right? He has a disorder, and I think, we should not speculate, we should not try and guess, but I think with mental health issues, they are not in control. Okay, so we should not think also that everyone with mental health issues have a violent tendency. No, we should not. But to Glenn's question, why are more and more people having mental health issues? Think about the whole pandemic as being a prison cell. And a prison with nowhere to go. And our students are still required to perform up to whatever expectations there are. They have no letting up. They are not permitted to make mistakes. They are still required to perform and get their A's. They are still asked to go back to school, to adapt to whether it is online, not online, and it is so frustrating for them because the way that things are being taught now is so confusing. But nobody ever kind of sits down and processes things with them. They're just expected to do. There's no break.
All right. Okay, Gerry, let's continue this conversation live on The Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Garbage. Only happy when it rains on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah, Gerry, you were saying, the first thing that came to my mind as well when it happened, I'm not speculating, when I heard that someone did something to somebody else, was that perhaps a person could have been going through a lot as well, like, at home, in school. Parents could have lost a job, parents could be getting a divorce, a pet could have been lost, something to trigger an action and reaction to something like that. But also this particular boy had suicidal tendencies. right? He tried to commit suicide, I think, some years ago.
Couple of years ago.
So, not in relation to him in particular. If someone has suicidal tendencies, are they not put under extra special watch?
Again, we don't know what is his level of care. He probably is.
Okay.
Yes, but many times if they plan something, if it is on impulse, it is very difficult for us to catch. Yeah, so that brings me to, the emotions again. So all your emotions are definitely valid. I think I don't hear anger, not only anger from FD, but that all that underlying regretfulness of the society. What has the society come to? I was scared. I was really scared. So the first thing that hit me is, my son is in a secondary school. I send him to school every morning. So for the next few mornings when I sent him, I was like, am I going to get my son back?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was a very real fear. And then I would tell the kids, if you see anyone with anger management issues, can you please tell your school counselor? And of course my naughty kids, so the Coco went, oh yeah, I know someone. He pointed to the sister and say, Mimi. I was like, I'm gonna take it. I'm glad that you are still here fighting. That's fine. I will take it. Yeah. And scared for the therapist, the healthcare provider of the Sec 4 boy, because I don't know whose head is going to roll, whether they are going to be blamed for negligence, and how guilty the healthcare. So I resonated with that. And then scared for the teachers. And perhaps we can go into that later on. Scared for the teachers because they didn't ask for this to happen, but they are going to have fingers pointed at them. But they are going to have to still hold the fort. They are still going to have to teach their classes. Amazing teachers, all of them.
I don't understand why they kept the school open 2 days later. Why didn't they just switch everyone to home-based learning? Can you imagine 13-year-old kids going back to school after something like that happened? I know there was a day break, but a day is barely anything, right? Why didn't they just switch to home-based learning?
We cannot understand every single person, but if I were to use the more psychological explanation, is so that we go back to that space and not avoid the space.
But I mean, the kids are so young, though.
Yeah, so there's no right way to do anything, really. Yeah. But it's so strange that 2-3 weeks ago we spoke about PTSD, and this has to happen.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about it again. So yeah, the avoidance, the hypervigilance, the anxiety, those are some things that the students, the teachers would be going through.
But of course, I mean, today's session here with you, Gerry, is not to analyze the situation at the River Valley High School or the kid that jumped from what was it, the 10th floor or something like that?
Fourth
floor. Right. It's mainly today's session is to teach people how they can cope with a traumatic incident, something that they've experienced.
Yeah.
Right. It could be death in the family.
Yeah.
That may be traumatic, to some people.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Yeah.
And how do we cope with that?
How do we cope
right,
with
Gerry?
Yeah, so a trauma can be caused by many different things. It's that emotional response to an unexpected happening. So it can be a robbery, it can be rape, it can be an accident that you witness. And I think there is a lot of care for the victim and the children that are involved. I actually want to look at secondary trauma stress not secondary school trauma.
Okay.
Sean read it as secondary school. No, secondary trauma, and vicarious trauma and burnout.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is secondary trauma?
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Secondary trauma is when you have to keep hearing the story over and over again, having to hold space for them. You know, the you're exposed to the trauma. Yeah, but you're not directly involved.
So someone like you live with or something like that, or a best friend.
Yeah, so it can be the friend. It can be the teachers who have to hear the story over and over, but not directly involved, but have to hear what the students say, have to relive it over and over again because someone is telling them. The healthcare professionals that have to hear the story over and over again.
Okay, hold on, Gerry. We'll go on air and we'll talk about this once again. Okay.
Stand by.
Shawn Mendes
91.3 traffic.
and Camila Cabello.
And hi, I'm Camila Cabello with traffic.
Let's take a look at the traffic and see. You've got 1 or 2 delays across the expressways, but nothing unusual to report. Stay within the speed limit, please. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Good morning and welcome back to the big show. Speaking of Camila Cabello, we have our very own Camila Cabello, Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room.
Whoa!
And we're talking about managing trauma, actually. Many people have gone through some form of trauma. And, how complex is this, Gerry? Because, everyone is different, right? People are expected to get over a traumatic experience just like that. Some people can, some people never do. They live with it their entire lives. So how complex is this situation of managing trauma?
It's so difficult. I think we must. I need to put the base there. Our brains are very resilient. We are very resilient. Many people will have resources within themselves to deal with many situations. It is only because sometimes it displaces us so much, that it's very difficult to bounce back. And some of them have prior experiences. Okay, so some of the other, teachers, students, they had experiences before, and it re-triggers them. Now that becomes quite troublesome. So they are re-triggered. We do know some of the many of the schools are now on guard. They are looking out for students that have been bullied before, that are bullies, because the bullet is now going to fight back. I'm not going to lose my life. It's time for me to survive. It is really a matter of survival now, right? Some of them are copycat behaviors. Right? I'm so frustrated. I don't know what to do. So I borrow this method that is being used. Whether it is used as a threat, whether he really carry out or not, I don't think we should take it lightly. So there are all these thoughts in their head, and everybody experiences the trauma differently. And we on the sidelines may not be directly involved, but there are different associations, there are different things that we might resonate with the incident, and we would feel a lot for the situation, different parts of the situation.
Yeah. And I was also thinking about, for some people, right, they go through so many traumatic experiences in their lives.
Yep.
Some people never do.
Yeah.
But that's life for you, right?
True.
Yeah,
It's like, does it make you stronger or does it break you?
Well, sometimes it doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't break you. You take myself, for example. When my brother passed a couple of years ago, very traumatic experience for me because of decisions we had to make. And I live with that every day now. I live with it when I hear that a family member is sick and going into hospital. It all comes back.
Yes.
at me. You know, and it's this recurring fear.
Yeah.
You know, and there's just I just live with it.
Does that equip you to be better when you have to
No.
face that situation again?
No, not at all.
I think it all begins with if you're talking about death in
Yeah.
the family, right?
Yeah.
The closest person in your family, the first person to pass on,
Yeah.
you feel something.
Yeah.
Like I lost my father on New Year's Day this year. I didn't tell anybody about it. Only a handful of people know.
Yeah.
I came to work. I didn't take leave. Didn't
Yeah.
take compassionate leave. But he passed on the 1st of January.
That's right.
And it was the first time I experienced, something that's so painful.
Yeah.
First time. And I expected to get over it in a week. I wanted myself to just get over the death of my dad, but I couldn't. And even till today, I still feel it.
Yeah.
And I'm still telling myself, get over it. Because I don't want to feel the way I'm feeling. It comes and it goes, you know what I mean? And sometimes at night I feel like I'm not sleeping as well as I used to as a result of that. I think it's in my subconscious as well.
Gerry, is that the right
That's
thing?
why I said I need to see you, Gerry.
No, is that the right thing to do, this whole, or just get over it?
No, and then you start thinking, right? Okay, this is my father, and then you're thinking like, okay, I've got other
Close
members of the family,
members.
Yeah.
and you're thinking about that. You're dreading it, and all of a sudden you're thinking about death all the time.
Yeah.
And then it just starts to get at you.
Yeah.
I mean, for people who have not experienced this, right, you will not know what I'm talking about. Just
Yeah.
like I never knew what others were going through at
Yeah.
that time until I experienced it for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a very hard thing to deal with.
Very.
I mean, I hear both of them speaking, and I, knock on wood, have not lost anyone as close as that to me ever.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine how it must feel. And I don't know. I'm sitting here looking at Glenn and saying he doesn't have to get over it, right? I mean, he can mourn for as long as his emotions want to, right?
It's your father, Glenn, and I really thank you for sharing it so publicly today. The ache that you feel is such a deep ache. I feel it too. So big love, big hugs. Thank you so much for sharing. And just by sharing, I think it is so valuable because all of us are now supporting you. And your father is your father for a lifetime. What is this talk about? Getting over it,
Yeah.
No, and it's, since we're on air, let's say that we love our moms and dads. I'm gonna shout out and say I love you, mom and dad.
And Glenn has
Love
made
you,
me cry
Mom.
on air.
No, but Gerry, I like what you just did, because I'm a firm believer that in Singapore today, not enough people tell
Their stories.
tell people that are important to them that they love
No,
them.
yeah, that's true.
It is not part of our DNA.
Not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
And
I'm
we
glad I
need-
always did.
Yeah, we
I always
need
did,
to
though.
do that. We need to tell people that we love them.
Yes.
It's important.
And not
Yes.
just through words, through actions, as
Actions,
well. Whether
whatever.
it's a hug or a kiss on the cheek
Yeah.
or anything. Not
However.
enough people are touchy feely in that way with family members.
Yeah.
And I hope that with us sharing this, more people will call parents and siblings and cousins and whatnot and say hi, how are you? And it's been a while since we spoke.
Or at least say I love you.
Let's
Yeah.
call today I Love You Day.
Okay.
Call someone today and tell them you love them.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Brilliant. Yes.
Do that.
Let's
yes.
do that.
Yes.
And
Do we have the Stevie Wonder song right now? I just called to say I love you.
I love you.
And once you do, tell us who you called. You can always send a WhatsApp through, and you can even send a message through to our WhatsApp. If you're not that sort of person who wants to say I love you in person, we can say I love you on your behalf. It's 88550913.
All right, we are speaking to Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room this morning. We'll continue to talk to her live on the Big Show TV. In the meantime, here's Stevie Wonder with I I just called to say I love you on the Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
Was that a coincidence? Plan. I mean, did you switch the songs?
Yes.
Yeah, just for that.
Yeah. So that's why
So-
I'm saying some people
Yeah,
never
I
get
think it's
over
so
it.
important. Really, really important to say I love you. And I'm so glad that you did, that you keep doing it.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that my friend, texted me a couple of days later, she was saying, and I didn't get her permission to share, but I'm sure she will forgive me. Her son actually opened up a pair of AirPods. I think it was AirPods that she wanted to sell on Carousel. Okay, so this is a teen son, yeah? And then she was ready to just like scold him and give it to him. And then the news broke on Monday, right? So that was all in a day, right? Morning, she realized, oh, I can't sell it now. You've opened my box, you've ruined it. And then in the evening, when he came back, because of that news, she just held him. Yeah. And I think it's a huge reminder. And I know many parents who then listen to their children who then said, I can't manage the Friday. I think it was Thursday or Friday. Students were saying, I can't do this anymore. Not in the affected schools, but in other schools. And parents were listening to their children, which I thought was awesome. One day off is not going to do any harm to your child.
Yeah. Now, I was just thinking, I was about to ask you that with what happened, should parents now be bringing this subject up and talking it through with their kids?
Yes, so I've encouraged all parents to do that, to communicate, to talk openly about it, because if we don't, our brain takes over, we start to fantasize, we start to speculate. So we don't want to do that, we don't want to put the blame on anyone. We don't want to say that this caused it, or because there are lots of stories going around, and children are extremely impressionable.
Yeah.
We don't want more hate crime to surface also. So parents should talk to the children about it. Yeah.
It's we just got a message in from somebody saying, "Hi Angel, I just called my hubby Kelvin Sue, who's driving right now, and before I could say I love you to him, he said it to me first because he's also listening in to 1FM 91.3.
Awesome.
So that's our first message in.
Wonderful. And I think, for the teachers out there, or for whoever that has someone that you have a family member that is a teacher, that is a principal, please tell them that they are doing such a wonderful job. Yeah, because I cannot imagine the amount of stress now that the teachers have to go through, because they are on alert.
Yeah.
They are, having to give a lot of answers. Principals have to hold the fort for every single school. So every principal is going through a lot. And they have no one to go to. So they will have to listen to each and every one of the teachers, of what they are going through, and hold the space for them.
Yeah. What advice do you have for these people who might feel like they need to talk to someone? I mean, they should definitely seek help, right? They could see a psychologist, a psychiatrist. There's no shame in that.
No, absolutely not.
I think if they feel they need to talk to someone, they should.
Yeah, so our hospitals are fantastic. I think CGH, NUH, if I'm not wrong, SGH have trauma-informed care therapist. So you can go to them. Some of the family service centers, and most of us can help you with the trauma work. Yeah, I think I remember like one of the police. So we don't really hear this. So I'm going to share this because the police actually have a lot of trauma when they do their work.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right?
Gerry, I met someone the other day. I was telling them this. I didn't do it on air. I was telling the guys off air. He was a policeman. He's now a financial consultant. He was a policeman. He gave up the police force because he was beginning to not feel.
Oh.
He had seen so much violence and so much hurt that he was becoming...
Harry Callahan, Dirty Harry.
Yeah, no, he was just becoming immune to
Right.
the...
Numb.
He was becoming numb. And lucky he realized it, and he actually left the police force.
Numb as in he was being, he was emotionless.
Emotionless.
As
No
in like,
empathy.
No empathy. No more
No
empathy.
compassion.
There was no compassion.
So
There was
kind of
nothing.
numb to all of
Numb
that.
to everything that was happening to him. So he said, no, this is not the way I'm going to live my life. And he got out. He had to get out. He felt he had to get out.
You know, speaking of trauma, I'll bring this up because I did something on social media last week to bring awareness to mental wellness as well as people who have been affected by any sort of trauma. And there's this new sort of circle that's been formed called Safe Circle. You can find out more at safecircle.sg. And basically, it comprises 7 organizations that have come together to create more awareness and knowledge of mental health within the community. So what they do is they offer complimentary programs that give the people who participate the knowledge of trauma and how to apply the principles of care into one's life and one's work.
okay.
So the 7 agencies involved are Asset, Boys Town, Campus, Caregivers Alliance, as well as Limitless, Singapore Association for Mental Health, and Singapore Children's Society. So if you need help, you can also go to safecircle.sg to find out how you can get involved and how you can learn more and create more awareness about mental health as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Yeah. Because when the teams come in together, all the partners come in, it becomes a very holistic, way forward.
Yeah,
Right.
it does. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Gerry, I saw you on the big story, yeah? You were speaking to Haryanto, right? Was it a few
it
weeks
was
ago?
quite funny. Last week, was it the week before? Yeah, I think it was the week before. Yeah.
And this was about the River Valley High School incident.
Oh,
was it?
then that was last week.
Yeah,
then.
last week.
Yeah. Then
Wow.
it was last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gerry, I want to go back. I'm going to sound terribly old-fashioned. I want to go back to something you brought up earlier. Copycat behavior.
Yep.
When we see this violence that causes trauma in children, could it be, I'm trying to say this politically correctly, could it be because in today's world, they are just exposed to so much violence wherever they turn? Games, television, movies,
Social media,
wherever they turn, they are exposed to violence.
I tell you, it's that electronic game. It's that video game, Grand Theft Auto.
Not just that. There's Call of Duty. There's all sorts.
Is that? I mean, from a therapist's point of view, have you seen any connection between the two?
Okay. First up, the boy has a disorder. So gaming or otherwise, he's not in control of his behavior. But many parents have asked this, whether, the aggression from the games will translate to aggression outside.
Yeah.
Now, many of us watch action movie, but we do not, carry out all the different weird martial art moves and things like that. We know the difference between reality and fantasy. But there are some times that children are not taught that. So reality and fantasies, the line gets a bit blurred.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on.
I've got-
We'll do a traffic update and we'll come
can do
back.
And I've got a
air.
question for you when we come back.
Yeah, ask Gerry that same question.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
1.3 traffic.
Alrighty, on the roads, delays across the expressways. Nothing should surprise you too much. Newbridge Road near the Teo Hong Road junction. Roadworks there. Take care as you're out and about. Stay within the speed limit. Have everyone buckled up. Drive safely today.
Good morning. You're tuned in to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Glenn, Angel, FD, and Sean. We certainly hope you're enjoying today's session. It is a therapy session with Dr. Geraldine Tan
think
from the
to-
therapy room.
To a certain extent, it's
Yeah, I
therapy
look
for us as
forward
well.
to Tuesdays all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Very
trying
true.
to get something in, trying to get
Yeah.
Free
Gerry to
Put you on
to
her
listen
couch?
to me. Yes.
No, she's already said she can't.
She told you multiple times.
So Gerry, here's my question. when we see trauma, this is especially I feel with teenagers, we see trauma caused by violence. Is it because wherever these kids turn today, whether it is social media, the movies, television, whatever, they are exposed to violence? Is there a correlation?
Well, okay, if we look strictly at just numbers, okay, if the numbers show that there is a correlation. However, I think if we look deeper than that, if we can teach the children what is reality and what is fantasy, and the lines are not blurred, that would help them a lot. So they can play and play in moderation. So that's another topic that I want parents to talk to the children about, to play in moderation and not get consumed by the game itself. Yeah, so then the chances of the child getting lost in that whole violent behavior is lessened.
Yeah, because I see it, when I see young kids play today, somewhere along the line, in every game, someone's kicking someone or pretending to kick someone or pretending to punch someone. It always seems to break down into violence.
Yep. They need to make more shows that they use words to banter and debate. It's really missing. Missing from many shows actually nowadays.
Less violence, right? And more
less
more
physical
language,
violence. Yeah.
But it never used to be a problem before.
This is the thing. And I can actually pinpoint it.
I used to watch all the Jackie Chan movies when I was a kid.
And we weren't like that. We weren't like
the
that.
Shaolin Kung Fu movies,
I saw the change. I'll be honest, because I've done a lot of thinking about this. I saw the change with the popularity, believe this or not, of Power Rangers. That's when it all started.
To go downhill.
When kids started to get a game was fighting.
Those darn Power Rangers, man.
It started at that time. That's to me.
Really?
I just think it's the overexposure of information and communication. Whether it's the news, whether it's social media, whether it's TikTok challenges, music as well. There's a lot of violence in music as well if you listen to the lyrics. So I think it's the over information of all that, and it's what kids or even people pick up on that we're drowning in it. So I think kids find it hard to blur those lines, and sort of make a stand as to which is fantasy and which is reality.
Yeah, but I don't think we should just blame the media, or blame the songs, because it's been around for a very, very long time. Like hard rock has been around for a really long time.
Heavy metal and everything else.
Heavy metal, not hard rock. Yeah.
You see,
Heavy metal.
I think we're just looking for people to blame.
Maybe we are.
Maybe we are. Yeah.
Maybe we are.
I want to ask Julian. Julian, hi.
Hi, morning.
How did you feel last week with all the news that was happening?
Oh, okay. To be honest, I felt really sad. As a parent, I could feel the pain, genuine pain, both from the victims' parents' point of view as well as the perpetrator's parents' point of view. There was real fear, and there was genuine pain. As a parent, I don't think I would ever have felt like this before. It would have just been another juicy news for me in the past. But now when I read it, I can actually feel a lot of sadness in it. But I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I felt physically horrible last week because I went for my second dose and I had 40 degrees for like 3 days straight. So I don't think I had enough time to process everything properly and really feel. But in all honesty, I did feel something that was never there before I became a parent.
Okay.
Yeah. Could be the fear of allowing your kids to go to school and not knowing what may happen.
That it could happen to you.
A bit scary.
That it could happen to you.
I just realized that all the parents on screen here are wearing dark colors.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Which one of these things are not the same?
I'm quite sure it's a coincidence. Well, thank you so much, Gerry, for joining us once again. I'm sure you've got something to leave us with.
I do. And this one, I was going to dedicate it to everyone, but now I'm going to specifically dedicate it to you. Death leaves a heartache no one can heal. Love leaves a memory no one can steal.
Nice.
Nice. Thank you, Gerry.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Lovely.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I'll see all of you next week then.
Yes.
All right.
Have a
Okay.
good one, Gerry.
Bye, Gerry.
Bye.
Be safe.
All right,
All
let's
right.
move on to happier topics now.
We've got Julian Kho, editor of sgCarMart, with us, and we're going to be talking about drivers and should drivers go for refresher courses. Maybe we can just touch on it a little bit before we just go on the Big Show TV once again. Julian,
Yeah.
why you bring this up?
It was an argument between David and myself, saying, "Oh, you know what, refresher courses." I told him it's a waste of time. I told him, "Say no, you don't need a refresher course. You don't need to go for a refresher." And he convinced me. He convinced me because of 2 points. The first point is, you may actually have gotten into some legal issues before, and you are required to go for refresher course. So that could be one of the reasons. And the second one, as he said, you know what, not everyone's like you. You can drive every day. You know, some people decided to buy a car only after 10 years of getting his driver's license. He finally saved up enough money to get a car. You got to give them a chance. And I said, oh, you know what? You got a good point. I never really thought about it that way. For some reason, my mind was just so narrow. And I didn't think about, oh, yeah, maybe he took a little bit more time to save money. It took 10 years to save money to get. And for this 10 years, his parents had no car. And he finally moved out. And he still didn't have the capability to buy a car. So when he finally got the car, brand new spanking car. And I say this because I've got a friend of mine who actually is like this. When he got a spanking new car, called me. I hooked him up with one of the dealers, and the moment he drove out of the showroom, he scratched the car.
Oh.
And I'm talking about a bad scratch. I'm not talking about just a hairline scratch. I'm talking about a bad scratch, bad enough for the dealer to tell him, you know what, come on back. We'll just do a quick repolish for you for free, because it's just a waste. You just drove out. So these are the refresher driving course would be good for people like this, just for you to build confidence again after you know, maybe you've stopped driving, or maybe for some reason you haven't driven for a really, really long time, and you need further practice and assurance before going solo.
When we come back, I've got a comment from Debster on our Facebook page.
All right. Meantime, here's Nelly Furtado with Say It Right on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3. Good morning.
Okay.
Julian, before you came on.
David,
Yes.
by the way, is David Wee. I mean, you
Yes.
mentioned David just
Yes,
now.
yes.
David.
Right.
Morning, David.
Yes.
Morning, David. So, Julian, before you came on, we all here in the studio agreed that none of us need to take refresher courses, but everybody else needs
Yes,
to.
yes, yes.
Just to let you know. But Debster on our Facebook page said, I took a refresher course.
No way, Debbie.
Wait.
Oh.
Because I hadn't driven for 8 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And I needed it. Thank goodness I had this alternative. So Debster has obviously gained from taking this refresher course.
Yeah,
So there is.
because she didn't drive for so long. Well,
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah. I honestly can't. I think the word would be relate. I can't exactly relate to people going for a refresher course and coming out feeling more confident, because I know no one, in all honesty, I know no one who actually went for refresher courses before and came out telling. So I haven't heard stories before. So actually, Debster, this is the first time I'm hearing like a real life story about someone going for a refresher course and coming out feeling, you know what, thank God I went for the course.
I mean,
Yeah.
especially someone who hasn't driven for some people don't drive for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And the roads change all the time
Yeah,
as well,
but still,
right? So
to
you
these
would-
people, going for a refresher course is a pain in the ass, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, like Debbie said, she needed the confidence back as well. You
Yeah.
know,
True.
the confidence
Practice.
of getting back into a car and knowing
Yeah.
knowing all the rules and everything else. So where does one go when they want a refresher course? I mean,
I think
to
you
the
just go
driving
to
school?
Yeah, I think you can just go back to the driving school. I
driving
think
school,
it's
yeah.
like a
Do you
number
do
of.
the theory as well? And
I don't
sorry,
think you need to do
practical
the
and
theory.
no
No
need to do the
So,
theory.
so no basic theories, no advanced theory. And even the number of refresher driving lessons depends on what you're hoping to get from them. So if you just want a really basic reintroduction of driving, basics of driving, you probably need a lesson or two. That will probably suffice. But if you're talking about a little bit more to build your skills and experience, like maybe highway driving, parking with one hand, I don't know,
Parallel parking.
a little bit more skillful stuff. You may need maybe 5 or more lessons.
Frida on our Facebook page has said, yes, definitely. I need refresher driving license. I cannot park my car to save my life.
Oh dear.
Hey,
She just needs parking lessons then.
here's an idea. Julian, you can speak to David about this. SgCarMart
Yes.
Conducting
should
classes.
actually make it easier for people who
Online.
may want to go for refresher lessons.
Hey, it's money making, Julian.
Yeah, you guys can do that.
I can do anything. I will just not be an instructor.
Are you instructors? Are they private ones?
Let David do that.
Yeah.
Oh, according to Debster, you can go to private instructors as well to do refresher
Oh, right.
courses.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Because you already have your license, well, actually. So
Yes, yes.
That's interesting. I never knew that, because in my refresher courses would only be available in schools,
driving
right?
schools, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what? Yeah, Karen.
It's so strange. Michael has come across here as well. My mum did a refresher course when she didn't drive for more than 10 years.
Yeah, there you go.
Just to get back the confidence to get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know what? There's so many people, right, who have gotten their driver's license but never went
Use
on
it.
to get a car.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So as we speak,
Yeah.
right, you've got people who haven't driven for 20 years, let's say,
Yeah.
or maybe even more than that,
Yeah.
who have suddenly decided, okay, maybe I should just start driving.
Oh, they want
And
to
so-
buy a car. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and so the refresher course is important.
So, do these
Well, I
refresher
suppose.
courses, are they also given to people who, say, lose their license for an offense or something like that? Do they have
I
to
don't-
take them?
Okay, I don't think so. As in okay, from what I know, the refresher course is available for anybody of any age who's got a license before, right? I think we like from 18 or 20 right up to like 75 or 80 until you're unfit for driving, right?
Yeah.
But so to answer your question, if let's say you have lost your license before and you have gotten it back after a suspension perhaps, yes, you can definitely go for a refresher course. But if you're saying if you have been disqualified from driving, banned from driving, that means anything more than 12 months, no, you'll just have to retake your license all over again
Right.
before.
From the start, okay.
Yeah, and when I say retake, I mean like the basic theory, the advanced theory, all the tests
Everything.
before going for
You-
a refresher.
I always thought if you get banned from driving and they take away your license for a while, you will have to
You go
take
through-
a test again.
You
That's
do
what
the
he
whole
said.
thing.
Yeah,
That's what he
that's what
said.
he
No, no, no. So basically,
no.
I mean, what you said earlier on, right, Angel? I thought to myself, no, I mean, you don't need a refresher course because you're gonna have to take the test again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that in itself
Oh.
would be a refresher course. But I think, Julian, not everyone loses their license, right? They're
And
suspended.
anything correct? Anything below a year,
Right.
you still have your license. You are just
Oh, right. Suspended,
temporarily
right.
suspended. But when you say you're disqualified, it's probably usually it's 12 months and above.
Right.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay,
Okay.
very interesting. I didn't know this. Moller's just come back. You know these refresher courses have been around for more than 10 years?
10,000 years.
10,000 years.
About
Back,
there,
back,
Same thing,
back,
right?
back during the Flintstones days when your feet were your pedal. No, but Moll took her refresher course more than 10 years ago.
Oh,
So
right,
people have
okay.
been doing this for ages.
I'm sure.
Are there new road signs and all that pop up every now and then?
I
mean, like
can't say for
like
sure.
the silver generation ones, the silver signs or whatever it is. They weren't around during my time of taking a.
Oh, yeah?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, the school zone ones. yes,
I
but not the
know
silver zone.
there. I mean, if you're talking about 10 years ago, definitely there are new signs like, for example,
Yeah.
bus lanes, timing.
Yeah, so
I mean, these are things that are just new,
they're
right?
new, right? So that's my question. Shouldn't we, like people who are taking refresher driving lessons, also take their theory as well? Because there are new signs that nobody understands.
Every sign is basically slow down. So
Do you know what I mean? So that's why, because I've seen some signs and I'm like, oh, that's the first time I'm seeing that. I have no idea what that means.
That is a good question.
you can read this online, right?
Yeah, actually,
I-
Google it.
Yeah, Google or the website will tell you.
Here's what I would like to believe. I think a theory test is not necessary because Singapore's government and all the scholars involved in creating road signs, I'm sure they are equipped with the knowledge to create something that's idiot-proof.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
So if you don't know, means you shouldn't be
You're
driving.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Hold on. We're going for a traffic update.
All right.
Right,
No
right.
traffic.
No
No
traffic.
traffic.
Sorry.
No.
Okay,
Last
we're
one
gonna
there.
go on
Last
air
one there.
and yeah.
Last one, yeah.
Stand by.
Christina Aguilera, What a Girl Wants, right here on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3. We are also on The Big Show TV with Julian Kho, editor of sgCarMart. Thanks once again for joining us, Julian.
Thank you for having me, guys.
And this morning we're talking about whether or not people should go for refresher driving courses.
Yeah, it's interesting because should it be voluntary? Should it be something you do once you reach 25 years of experience? You know.
Well, someone has WhatsApped in and said taxi drivers need to send them for refresher courses.
Oh, come on.
So mean.
They don't know when to stop when in a circle. Circus, I think this
Circus,
person means.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, but you
circus.
see, I mean, this is just one
person.
incident.
Yeah.
One incident, and you're just saying all
Every
taxi
taxi
drivers are like
driver
that.
should do it.
We shouldn't
Yeah.
be like that. We
Come
shouldn't
on,
stereotype.
get off the back of these guys. They're trying to earn a living. Go on.
Absolutely. Hey,
tough
not me,
life.
man. Don't shoot
They
the
got a
messenger.
tough life. Roland Chua says he's got a friend of his who takes a refresher course every year. An annual refresher course because she doesn't want to scratch her husband's car when she has to drive
Poor
it.
girl.
I think the husband is the one that forces her to go for it.
He needs a refresher course in husbandry. My goodness, this woman sounds terrified of her husband.
Maybe she's a below average driver.
I don't know.
I mean, there are some.
Maybe
I
he's
don't-
the one sending her for the refresher courses.
No, I mean, I don't mean to sound like I'm putting down female drivers
You
because
can't because it was proven 2
No,
weeks ago
yeah.
that we're not worse off than you guys.
no, and because there are guys that need to go for refresher courses as
Absolutely.
well, for sure.
Absolutely.
Definitely,
I totally agree.
definitely. Yeah. That just reminds me of my friend who drove out of the showroom, the spanking new car, and just scratched it immediately. When he told me that, I was just, no, you've got to be kidding. You've got to be kidding. He said, no, it was so bad that I just made a U-turn and went back, and the guy just did it for me for free. I said, it's
Wow.
ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. But I think the refresher course is necessary for people. Like, there are people right here in Singapore, both male, female, old, young. They need this. They haven't driven on the road for years, might even a couple of decades, even 20 years, and they just need to refresh themselves. And like just what Angel said earlier on, there could be new road signs like bus lanes. It just came out, several years back, right, when bus lanes just created. Timings for bus lanes, they're new.
Yeah.
So people need to know. People need to refresh and drive just to understand. Oh, okay, this is the new bus lane sign.
Yeah.
And it's inevitable, and I think that's exactly why schools and FD just said even private instructors could actually give refresher course, something that I didn't know. But I don't think we need to be shy about it. I don't think we need to be ashamed about it. If I'm someone who hasn't driven for a while and all of a sudden, you know what, I hit the jackpot and I have extra cash and I want to buy my Toyota Crown or something.
You and your Toyota Crown.
Royal Saloon.
But yeah, you know what? I would go for a refresher course. You know what? Because my pride isn't as important as scratching my new crown, right?
That is true.
So I'll
yeah.
probably just go for a refresher course. I'll probably go for 4 or 5 lessons and just build confidence. That's the whole idea. Build confidence, familiarity again. And then hit the roads with my new spanking crown.
There you go. I want a refresher course in how to drive a stick shift. Because I learned on stick shift, but after that I went straight into automatic.
It's okay. Just go out there on the road.
But your license,
that extra pressure is
allows
great.
you.
It allows me, but I can't drive a stick shift now. I mean,
You
probably
can.
You can.
You
It's
say you
muscle
can't, but
memory.
you can. Yeah,
It's been like more than 20 years.
It's muscle memory. You'll hear this a few times, but after a while, you'll be fine.
If I'm driving my 1955 Gullwing, I don't want to hear that noise.
Wow.
Well,
That's the
but
plan.
yes.
Why
But
else
yes.
would I need to learn how to drive a stick shift?
You should go for a refresher course. Just enjoy driving a manual transmission car. That is a must. Just go for it. If you ever decide to go for it, please let me know. I'll just send my wife in together as well. Because she has the manual license, a class 3, right? But she hasn't driven a manual car since she passed.
They say,
Then I got my car and I just forced her to drive it. I actually forced her to drive my car, and she just went up to maximum of gear 2 around the car park. That's it. And she said, you know what, I'm not doing
Yours
it.
is a stick shift.
Yes, yes.
right,
And she said, you know what, I don't want to do it anymore. I said, why? I mean, you should. You need to get yourself familiarized because I don't want to be the only guy
To be able to
sending
drive
my
it.
kids to school.
Yeah.
I want you to send the kids to school too in the morning. You know what I mean?
I'm sure she's intimidated. I would be intimidated by it.
I miss the clutch and
exactly,
the pedal,
yeah.
the biting
Right.
point and
And-
just
Yeah, that's that balance, right? I'm like,
Yep. I still enjoy it. I still enjoy it. It does get frustrating when you're caught in a
traffic.
bad jam.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about a bad highway jam. That's just really physically painful. But how often does that happen, right?
Yeah, that's true.
fine.
And you just don't
It's
drive
fine.
during peak hour and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it's okay.
And you know what? Not all manual cars are the same. Okay, some manual cars are more delightful to drive than others. Like, I mean, my favorite car of all time was my Subaru STI.
Yeah.
It was
Yes,
absolutely
yes.
brilliant. I would love to actually drive WRX again.
A stick shift, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cars like that should not be automatic.
No, for sure not.
Cars like these should never go extinct.
Yeah,
Never.
absolutely.
They should just continue this breed of cars because without these cars, what on earth are we even doing here anyway? Right?
Okay, so in conclusion, what is it? Refresher or not?
Absolutely.
I think if you get fined, you should do it. That's my take.
I think if you haven't driven for at least whatever amount of years, if you're not confident on the road or you feel a little bit anxious, go for a refresher course.
I'll go with whatever Julian says. What do you say, Julian?
Before this, like I already told you guys, I thought it was a complete waste of time, waste of money. But I think, in all honesty, I think I can really feel rather understand what Angel just said. I think it is true. If you need to be a little bit more familiar on the road, if you want to build experience again, go for it. Nothing should stop you from that. If someone decides to mock you because you need to go for a refresher course, just give him a slap on the
Mock
face.
them back, yes, absolutely.
You know, if Julian and myself are on the roads, right? And we honk you like crazy, right? You need to go for a refresher course.
If you drive up beside them and look at their face,
Yes,
you need to go
yes,
for it.
yes,
If
absolutely.
I high beam you a couple of times and I don't see any reaction and I decide to overtake you, you hear a bit of exhaust noise.
You need a
and then
refresher
I
course.
start honking you by the side and I stare at you. Yeah, I think that is it's probably a cue for you to go for
They go for
course.
refresher and you go for anger management.
You guys are like the refresher police.
You know what's
Yeah.
going to happen today. People are going to be overtaking other people going, refresher course.
If we drive past you and we do this, okay,
You put an L on his forehead.
go.
I think the worst I probably did was drive side by side, wind down my window, and shouted, "Get off the road!"
Oh, no.
That was probably the
Your
worst that I
father's
did. If I actually did that, tomorrow register for a refresher course immediately.
And then take down his license plate as well. Road rage.
It's horrible. But yes, do not be shy. Just register for the refresher course if you need to, because you'd rather be safe than sorry. You'd rather just keep your car and tip-top condition. You rather just drive with confidence and be familiar on the roads rather than take risk and be unsure of what you're doing on the road. Never be unsure. Never be unsure.
Yeah.
Go for the refresher course if it's necessary.
All right. You should write an article and put it up on sgCarMart.
should.
Yeah,
You should.
I think.
I might actually
Yeah.
have that already.
Oh,
Really?
There you go.
Okay.
You should
Yes, we
repost
might
it
actually
then.
have. Refresh it for 2021.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Julian, for joining us as always.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. Always a pleasure.
See
We'll
you
see you
next
next
week.
week.
Stay safe. Be well.
Bye.
right.
Ciao.
That was Julian Kho, editor of sgCarMart, right here on The Big Show. Right now, it's headline news and sports on 1FM 91.3. All right.
That was interesting. Loved it. All right.
Share the video. Bye-bye.
Bye.